because you never know what could happen. There could be leaks. I remember the awful thing that happened to Jennifer Lawrence as well. That must be an horrific experience.
Reese Witherspoon just dropped the ultimate bombshell after Blake Lively allegedly tried to sabotage her career. And honestly, what else did Blake expect?
She's good at playing a villain. To an extent, she is.
From hijacking movie concepts to sidelining co-stars, Blake has a long history of stealing the spotlight. And this time, she set her sights on Reese. But Reese, ever the Hollywood mastermind in her iconic style, proved once again why she's the queen of the game. Main part Hollywood feuds are like reality TV. Cringy, dramatic, and impossible to ignore.
Reese Witherspoon was definitely having a dig at Blake Lively here, although Blake Lively's team says it's not true and it was never her in those photos, and they were all like they were fake photos.
But when the claws come out between two A-listers like Reese Witherspoon and Blake Lively, you don't just watch, you enjoy every bit of it. These two, once the epitome of charm and star power, are now tangled in a drama so juicy, even the tabloids are struggling to keep up. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill spat over seating arrangements at the Met Gala. It's a high-stakes showdown where ambition and authenticity are duking it out in the Hollywood Thunderdome. It all began with The Quiet Years, a project close to Reese Witherspoon's heart. Known for her knack for picking compelling, layered stories, Reese envisioned this film as a thought-provoking drama, one that would stand out in a sea of formulaic blockbusters. Her reputation as both a producer and actress promised something remarkable. But then, Blake Lively entered the picture. But Blake Lively, the golden girl of Hollywood with an eye for sophistication and a knack for turning heads, entered the scene. Blake seemed like the perfect partner for Reese Witherspoon on The Quiet Years. At least, that's what everyone thought before production turned into an uncredited sequel to Mean Girls. Blake, who probably walked into the room already planning her acceptance speech for Best Creative Genius Ever, reportedly couldn't stop herself from taking the wheel on the project. Because why stick to the role you're hired for when you can also dabble in everybody else's job? And let's be real, this isn't exactly uncharted territory for Blake.
You never know what might resurface in Hollywood. One wrong move, one whispered rumor, and your career can implode overnight. Turns out, behind the glamorous photos and red carpet smiles, Blake may have been pulling strings, and not in a good way. From hijacking creative projects to sidelining her own collaborators, sources say she's been playing the long game. And when she allegedly tried to sabotage Reese Witherspoon, she might have finally picked the wrong opponent. Because Reese didn't just fight back, she played her hand like a chess master, quietly, strategically. And oh, did she win? Hollywood feuds are usually loud, messy, and splattered across every tabloid. But not this one. This feud simmered in the background. Quiet glances, polite smiles, and all the drama tucked just out of view. Reese Witherspoon and Blake Lively were once the picture-perfect match. Both successful, charming, with reputations for grace and grit. The Quiet Years was Reese's baby, a thoughtful drama, full of emotional depth and real-world relevance. Reese, who's made a second career out of producing smart, compelling content, saw the film as something different, something with soul. After Blake Lively came on board, one crew member reportedly joked that Blake wanted to play every role, on and off screen. See, this wasn't the first time Blake had ruffled feathers. Her tension with It Ends With Us director Justin Baldoni is still whispered about in industry circles. Insiders say she tried to mold the story into her own vision, undermining the original tone of the project. It's become a pattern. Blake doesn't just want to act, she wants to run the entire show. And while confidence is crucial in Hollywood, overconfidence, that's a different beast. Reese, by contrast, is known for her diplomacy. Her sets are tight, professional, and built on respect. But even she couldn't navigate the growing storm. Creative clashes escalated, the vision shifted, and what began as a promising collaboration slowly unraveled into a vanity project. Eventually, Reese walked away, not with a public statement or press release, just silence. but that silence said everything. The buzz around The Quiet Years dimmed. The premiere came and went. The box office results were underwhelming. Critics called it visually striking but emotionally hollow. A film with all the style and none of the soul. And the backlash? It landed squarely on Blake's shoulders. The very project meant to establish her as a creative powerhouse instead exposed the limits of her approach. People weren't just criticizing the film, they were questioning Blake's judgment. While Blake scrambled to salvage the situation, Reese was already 10 steps ahead. She had another film in the works, one that carried the same emotional weight and depth that The Quiet Years had lost. It was called Inheritance. Shot entirely on iPhone across international locations and starring Bridgerton's Phoebe Dynevor, Inheritance became an indie sensation. It premiered in January 2025 to glowing reviews. Critics praised its authenticity. Audiences connected with its themes. And suddenly, Reese was back, stronger than ever. Some say it was a coincidence, but if you know anything about Reese Witherspoon, you know she doesn't do coincidences. Inheritance was the film The Quiet Years should have been. And everyone noticed. But rewind the clock. Because this feud may have started long before The Quiet Years ever existed. Let's go back to June 5th, 2011. The MTV Movie Awards. Reese is on stage accepting the Generation Award. Her speech? Not the usual thank yous. No, this one had bite. Reese said, "It's possible to make it in Hollywood without taking your clothes off and putting them on the internet." The crowd gasped. Everyone knew what she was referencing. Alleged nude photos of Blake Lively that had surfaced days before. Blake's team had denied the photos, calling them fake, but Reese's words hit like a sledgehammer. She never named names, but she didn't need to. Blake was in the audience that night, sitting beside Ryan Reynolds. And while the cameras didn't catch it, insiders say the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Fast forward to early 2025. Reese appears on a podcast and drops a casual yet jaw-dropping story. She talks about an awards speech gone wrong, a misunderstood joke that ended a friendship with an unnamed actress. Internet detectives went wild. They linked it to Kate Winslet, based on timing and archived footage from a 2007 awards show. But others weren't so sure. Some believe the unnamed actress was Blake. The clues lined up. And even if it wasn't Blake, the story painted a clear contrast. Reese owns her mistakes. She grows from them. Blake, meanwhile, often appears to deflect. That distinction? It matters in Hollywood. A lot. Blake Lively once ruled the red carpet. She was the queen of curated cool. But after The Quiet Years, her brand took a serious hit. Casting calls slowed. Endorsement deals dried up. Directors whispered about control issues. Co-stars reportedly asked not to work with her again. It was like Hollywood had hit mute on the Blake Lively hype machine. One producer summed it up bluntly. She wanted to run the room, but forgot how to read it. Meanwhile, Reese kept thriving. Her production company continued cranking out hits. She became a go-to for female-led, high-quality projects. While others fought for relevance, Reese let her work speak for itself. She didn't need scandals. She didn't need to dominate the spotlight. She just kept showing up, professional, poised, and powerful. Her strategy? Slow, calculated growth, authentic relationships, respect on set, and an ability to read the room that could put political operatives to shame. And so we circle back to the question that matters most. When all is said and done, whose legacy lasts? Blake Lively? A bright, fast-burning firework who may have exploded too soon? Or Reese Witherspoon? The steady flame that never wavered, only burned brighter? Her quality work continues to impress as well as her well-organized, respectful sets. The Quiet Years may have been a misstep, but it revealed everything. Hollywood isn't about grabbing the mic. It's about knowing when to speak and when to step aside. Reese knew. Blake, Well, she's still figuring it out. Because one would think she'd have learned something from her failed battles with Cate Blanchett and Meryl Streep. But that apparently is not the case. Hit that like button if you're rooting for resilience over ego, and subscribe to see what comes next in this ongoing Hollywood chess match. Because trust me, this feud, it's far from over. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. We hope to see you again soon.